And now on Chatterbox UK, we welcome Phil Wright from Paper Lace. Phil, hello, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you for coming on. Phil, it's been quite a journey for you. I remember back in the you on Top of the Pops around about sort of 74 time, but
74, definitely.
Yeah,
that was the year.
That's the year I was born.
You had a good year. You had a very good year in 74. But Phil, how did you get there? I mean, was it a musical home, or how did you get to that guy leading that group on Top of the Pops?
It was a long story. I mean, we were a working band, working sort of 7 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't. We were making records from about 1968, something like that.
Okay.
Then we went on a TV talent show called Opportunity Knocks.
Oh, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in. We did the audition in 1970, and we got on the show in 1973. So
Okay,
they were very keen to see us.
Wow.
And on that show, as luck would have it, Peter Callender's wife, God rest his soul, Peter Callender's wife Connie happened to see the show. She was a fan of Opportunity Knocks. She saw the show and she sort of said she knew that Mitch and Pete had written this song, and they were looking to what to do with it basically. And she said, "Oh, what about these guys? Why don't you could launch a band, with this new song. Why don't you get in touch with their management?" And they did, and we recorded it in 73, and 74 February entered the charts about 38, I think, something like that.
And it made its way all the way up to number one, not only in the UK but Australia as well, and Lord knows where really.
Yeah, lots of places.
South Africa. I think you were loads of places. Yeah. What was it? So going from these sort of Midlands, Northern Workmen's Club type atmosphere places, what was it like to then suddenly end up on Top of the Pops? Was it a culture shock, or was it just in your stride sort of thing, and it was all fine?
Yeah, I mean, nobody. When I started, sort of age 13, I had no sort of aspirations of making it, making it big and being famous and all the rest of it. Nothing. Just wanted to be in a band, and it was a bit like that all the way along the line. Really, just wanted to be in a band. Didn't want to do anything else, and then you just you're in contact with people who are successful people and successful writers, and it was a culture shock, but it was sort of turn everything on its head, and the world went mad completely.
Cool. How was it though when you went from being real musicians, as it were, to having to mime? That must be awful.
Yeah, well, on Top of the Pops, we were in the early days of Top of the Pops. We used to re-record a track that was something like the record, and then we'd play to the backing track live most of the time. Yeah, so it wasn't all mine. It was not sort of lip syncing. Those days were yet to come.
Okay. So, like I say, it's a bit of a slower start in the US, though, wasn't it? Because Billy Don't Be Hero, if these figures are right, you just made the Billboard Hot 100, got crawled in at 96. But the night Chicago died, that did something big for you, didn't it?
I love that song.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, in actual fact, Billy Don't Be a Hero got to number one with Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods in 74.
I got you.
Mitch Moore and Peter Callender were trying to do a deal with Mercury, and they were a bit edgy about it, and not quite all their the contracts and all the rest of it. There was a problem of some sort, and while they were negotiating, Bo Donaldson picked the song up and recorded it, and it got to number one. But they covered our version, as it were. We had they heard it. They to release it before we had a chance to. But Mitch, Murray, and Peter Calendar, obviously for them it was a number one, so they weren't that bothered. But they said next time, we're gonna get there, and we released Chicago Died. It went to number one, which was amazing, absolutely amazing in those days, because the number of bands that were actually trying to get to number one was astronomical. It was just a look, right place, right time.
Sure, but I mean, being number one in the UK is one thing, and appearing on Top Watch is one thing. But getting to number one on the Billboard Hot 100 and having to go halfway around, I mean, did you have to go there for? Is there such a thing as you actually flew halfway around the world to do a TV thing and then half the way back? Did it work like that? Or didn't you appear on TV shows in the States at the time?
We did a lot of promotional work, but we never actually did a tour of the States.
Okay.
We've never toured the States. I'm negotiating at the moment.
Wow.
Because people are interested, but at the time, it was such a massive affair to actually tour the States, because in those days promoters didn't want to supply anything. You had to have support from your record company, and Mercury weren't interested in supporting us, because they said basically we can get number one without the band being here.
Yeah,
and
okay.
And they were right. Yeah.
Okay, so I see that we had a third hit in 1974, Black Eyed Boys. It seems like you have quite a. Sorry, lost you a bit then. Seems like you have quite a big following in Australia all the way through. I mean, did you actually get around to touring Australia?
Yeah, we toured
wow.
Australia in '75, and in actual fact, our album Paper Lace and other bits of material that went gold over there. So we got a gold album from Australia.
Fantastic.
So going out there in '75, it was like the Beatles being on tour.
Wow.
All the airport when we landed, I couldn't believe it. The sort of top. Sort of roof garden bit was lined with fans, and they were going mad, and the limousines picked us up and all the rest of it, and we had a great tour. And in actual fact, we went back, slightly different lineup, but two of the originals, myself and Cliff Fish, the bass player, and we went back in 2017, and we had just as terrific a time. There was lots of people there that had actually come in '75, but they brought the kids with them. Some of them brought the grandkids with them. But it was good. It was a really nice time. I mean, they are terrific audiences. There's no two ways about it. Australia are great audiences to play to.
Excellent. Now, I mean, obviously your origins are Nottingham. I mean, have you always stayed in that sort of area? You're still sort of like a bit big as far as gigging around Nottingham is concerned as well?
We don't gig around Nottingham at all, really. Everything's done away from Nottingham.
Okay.
But I still live here, and I've lived here all my life. I was born here.
I was always aware that you're a little tie up with Nottingham Forest Football Club, so I think that's pretty safe to say which one of the two clubs that you support.
Yes, that's right.
And of course, you had that lovely little, slightly smaller hit. We got the whole world in our hands with, of course, Nottingham Forest Football Club. I remember that coming out well. Yeah.
You've got again.
Yeah, I'll just repeat that. And I remember 1978 when you and Nottingham Forest Football Club joined forces and brought out "We Got the Whole World in Our Hands." Yeah.
Any of it.
There you go. What's happened since, though, Phil? Because, I mean, obviously you're talking about touring and maybe the States and things. Let's talk about that at the end. But in the meantime, after that small hit in '78, I mean, has it been almost non-stop touring? And how's it been for you? Hello?
Lost connection, his end.
Hello? Hello?
Can I suggest you rebook it? He's got problems with his Mac.
Hello? Hold on. He's still there. Hello, Phil? Hello? I can't hear you at the moment, your end. Hello?
Hello?
I got you.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. I've got you. where did we got to? Yeah, all it was, Phil, I was just saying I'd like to talk a bit more about the American thing at the end. But what you know about the potential tour that you it sounds like you might be having, very exciting. But what have you done between 1978 and sort of before lockdown? I mean, has Paper Lace been that? Have you been going non-stop touring, and how's it been?
No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
We generally do possibly 15 gigs a year.
Okay.
But obviously I haven't worked at all since March of when was it? March. I can't remember. March 2020.
Yeah.
I haven't worked at all in the music business. We just before lockdown we managed to get some recording done. Mm-hmm. We re-recorded a couple of the album tracks that we're gonna. Well, when we tour, we're gonna sell a CD, that sort of thing, and.
Cool.
There's a couple of tracks. All the stuff that we actually play in the set is all Paper Lace material. It's either off the album or it's the singles.
Okay, yeah, sure. And I see you've had some stuff brought out on Cherry Red Records as well. There's a company that we deal with an awful lot, as you could probably imagine. So good company. So you got some back catalogue on there as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what can we really look for? I mean, what's going to be next? When Phil Wright can get out there, okay, I know you're talking about America. What do you really want to do? Do you want to do a big gig? Do you want to bring out a song? What's the first thing you really want to do when you can do it?
I think it's to get back into gigging. You know, that's the main thing, really. I think it would be nice. I've got some gigs in. We do a lot of the 70s things at the holiday camps, that sort of thing.
You, yeah.
So Bucklin's, you know, they're on board, and we'll be doing some. I think there's a couple of festivals, one in Worcester, Summertime Festival, that's coming up. But it's all very little this year.
Sure.
I think it's all for next year. I mean, we're going to Canada in 2022.
Very good.
I'm going twice, in actual fact. But yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I do a thing with the tremolos.
Okay.
I play drums. I joined when Dave Munden, God rest his soul, he was gigging, but he had to have 2 operations on his knees.
Okay.
And he said we met up, in actual fact, at the 50th anniversary of Top of the Pops, and he told me that he was going in for this operation, and I said, "Oh, if you want to stand in, you know, while you're not so well, you know, give me a shout."
Yeah.
And he did, and I did a few gigs, and Dave decided that he wasn't going to play drums again. He was going to sing on the front. So he said, "Would you like to become a permanent member?" And I said, "Yeah, terrific. I know. I grew up with the Tremolos catalogue, fine." So we go out now because of Chip and one or two sort of contractual things. We go out as the Trems.
Cool, lovely, wonderful. When you go out as Paper Lace, how many? Are you the only original member, or do you have? Is there more than just you as an original member?
No,
of
there's
Paper Lace?
two
of you,
us
brilliant,
original.
Perfect.
2 of us. As I say, Cliff Fish.
Oh yes,
he's a bass player.
You did say, yeah.
And he's so we've got the rhythm section basically is there, and we've got 2 new guys, Dave Major on keys and Phil Hendricks on guitar.
Cool. No, wonderful. Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing where your next move is, and what I'd really like to do, if it's okay with you, Phil, if you do pull off that American tour, or when you're do chuck us an email, and we can always come on and have a chat about it, and it'd be really good, because that to me is. Not just that, but if we're going to Europe or around the UK or festivals. But the whole point is getting active again is a very big step, especially for a group that, like Paper Lace, is still in existence. So you know, you are one of the guys from you know the era that you know, very good era it was in music too. So do please get in touch and put back on for a chat. That'd be brilliant, and we'll look to see you know what you do next. But If you could have done anything different, Phil, what would it have been in anything in your life?
I think anything in my life. I've got very few regrets in actual fact. So, yeah, I think I would do everything exactly the same again. But this time, I'd make sure that all the contracts were right and the deals were better.
Sure. No, that's very good.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Now, it's sort of... Let's take ourselves into a year's time. Haven't we? You've basically done that. Let's go 2 years. Are you just literally happy with gigging now? Is that how it's going to be? Do you think?
I am gigging and recording. We've done a bit of writing as well. So there's one or two things that so we're not sort of completely retired yet. We're looking forward to gigging. I mean, I will gig as long as I possibly can. I mean, I was last Wednesday I was 73, so I'm knocking on a bit, and but there's plenty of us oldies out there, and still doing it. So, and I'm blessed in actual fact because my singing voice hasn't changed, and we sing everything in the same key that we recorded it in. So it sounds very like the original. Well, you certainly, and I think that's why people adhere to us really.
I mean, you certainly don't look 73 on the outside. How you feel on the inside, I couldn't comment, but there you go.
No, you don't look your age.
And the other thing, Sue says you really don't look your age.
Oh, thank you.
And the other thing, Phil, of course, is a true musician doesn't retire. They drop in the end, but they don't retire.
That's right, yeah.
Sue's got a question for you.
I've got two questions for you, Phil. How did you come up with the name Paper Lace?
Good one, yeah.
I joined the band that I joined in '67. That eventually became Paper Lace was a band called Music Box. Okay. And we did a couple of bits of recording and all the rest of it as Music Box, but we did in 1969. We went professional because I was an apprentice at the time. We went professional. We went into a residency in Rochdale, a Mecca dance hall called Tiffany's in Rochdale, and we got 6 months in there. And what we decided was we'll come out of Rochdale with a new name and a new attitude. You know, we'll do everything. And we were looking sports pages at racehorses because some of the names of racehorses make really good band names.
Yeah, great.
Really good. And then one of the guys picked up this book of things to make, and he said, "Oh, look at this." He was looking through the index. He said, "What's?" And it's where you fold a piece of paper, tear little bits out of it, and when you undo it, when you open it out, it's a doily. And he said, "Oh, Paper Lace." Yeah. And we all looked at one another and said, "Paper Lace, what a great name."
Yeah. Not half.
I like that. Phil, have you got an autobiography coming out?
An autobiography? No, I'm sort of, yes. I decided to write a book. I started it about 18 months, 2 years ago. And I'm in about 150 pages. Cool. But it was going to be my life as a drummer. But I talked to my wife, and she said, "Well, 13 years up to that point, why don't you? It'll sort of give people an insight if you start, and it'd be good for the family if you start from dot." So,
very good. Yeah, perfect.
So it starts from my first memories, and I'm about 3, and it carries on from there.
Okay. Phil, who were your actual influences, music-wise, as you were growing up? I mean, was there anyone in particular in the 50s or anything, or who influenced you, basically? Anyone?
Well, when I started, the only band around was the Shadows.
Got you.
And in actual fact, the guy who played lead guitar had got thick black glasses, and he was a big Hank Marvin fan, and so we finished up playing a lot of Shadows material.
Okay.
And then the Beatles came along, and that was that. You know, they were the first sort of English vocal band, if you like, with guitars, and I've been a lifelong fan of the Beatles.
Yeah.
From Dot, but yeah, I like the Eagles. I'm into Steely Dan. Oh dear, Chicago.
Yeah.
I like lots of things. A very very wide scope of likes.
Cool. Is there anybody?
Elton John, big Elton John fan.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Is there anybody that perhaps?
Well,
Carry on, Phil. No, carry on.
Yeah, Elton John. In actual fact, he keeps his eye on sort of upcoming talent and stuff like that. He likes to be associated with it. Likes to help people wherever they can. But in 1974, when we were on Top of the Pops, I was sort of standing around. We were waiting, which you do for most of the time at Top of the Pops, and. At the corner of my eye, I saw Elton John coming over to me, and bear in mind at this point, I'm a massive fan. That he's a, not worthy sort of thing. He's just unbeatable. And he came over, and his arm went out, and he shook hands, and he said, "Congratulations on your #1 in the States."
Wow.
And I nearly fainted, and I uttered something unintelligible. It was just, and I thought, crikey, Elton John, what a great thing.
Nice, very nice, very nice.
Yeah,
brilliant. Phil, is there perhaps anybody that you, dead or alive, that you would perhaps like to have performed with over the years?
Elton John.
Oh, for a musician, that's it's almost. Yeah, it's an endless list.
Okay,
there are people that I admired that I would love to play with, and just too numerous to mention, really. I can't think of any one person.
Okay. Phil, do tell our listeners about a website that you might have, Facebook groups, Facebook page, anything you've got. If you chuck it at the listeners now, please, Phil.
Yeah. Well, we're on Facebook. If you look at the original 70s Paper Lace, and our website is www.originalpaperlace.com. And there's things on there. There's photographs on there. There's a few videos on there. Lots of pics, lots of pictures, and a sort of the discography of Paper Lace, and if there's any gigs coming up. Which it's been that end of it's been empty for a long time.
Sure,
but I intend to update that and let the fans know that there's things coming on.
That's great, Phil. Sounds like we've got a very exciting period ahead of you and Paper Lace, and we're looking forward to it. Like I say, do keep in touch, and do let us know what you're doing next, Phil. We'll have you back on for a chat some other time. It's been,
absolutely. Look forward to it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Phil.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Cheers, Phil. Thank you. Take care. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.